I'm in one of those moods. Just gonna talk here. Um, I get these weird 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hour flashes where I don't think I'm gonna be president, or I know I'm not gonna be president. And it really is brutal. Sorry, it's my dreams get crushed. This country needs me as an orator, and as a policy maker, and as a policy signer, and as a beautiful chief citizen. I'm one of the most beautiful men. I am kind of my type, but girls give me an 8 or 7. And I'm tall, and I have really straight teeth. I'm extremely beautiful. I'm very innocent. I have no, what's it called, baggage in the past. And I'm trying to be fake on Facebook and fake evil and stuff like that, so that people can relate to me. And the more rumors, the better. And I want to be kind of like a mix between Slytherin and Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris just died. I don't want to pray to be like him, because I don't even know if he's in heaven or hell yet, because I haven't prayed about it. But one man's heaven is another man's hell, so people get mad at me. Hell is not always fire and brimstone. It can also just be a state of mind of like, man, I could have done better, or I wish I would have lived different, or I'm gonna smash the reincarnation button because I need to try that one again. And then when they get here, they're veiled again, and then they make the same mistakes. That's a hellish thing, reincarnation loops. But your free will is ancient, and I believe everyone's on an adventure. And if you stop going on an adventure, you're gonna eventually epithumia desire to go on one. And most people have a spirit guide. There are atheists who they really are, I think, living their own life with their own mental faculty, and they might be driven by their appetite. But they're not praying and getting answers to prayers and stuff. Now there are some people who pray and they have a God, and they access the supernatural realm, and they get the desires of their heart without being changed by the God of the Bible and Jesus and stuff like that. And I just had this thought. See, that's a good example of where I'm at, because I have, I don't want to put it in. I'll just say it: multiple spirit guides, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So that's 3 right there. Now some people can have more. Some people can have Darren Brown is a good example of somebody who has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of spirit guides. And when he did the roulette spin, he prayed to all of them, and he says, "All right, whichever one of you is the biggest and the best and most loving, please have mercy on me." And he was kind of hoping to blow his brains out and then go to the best God, but something better happened. He lived, and the trick worked, because it was a Russian roulette stunt, but it was live TV, so you got to see the blood when he blew his brains out. But he didn't blow his brains out. He survived the trick, and there was a shield to hide the bullet, and he just wanted to see if his spirit guides would double cross him. And it was a pretty cool thing, because he killed so many different birds with so many different stones. Made a lot of money doing it. It was very entertaining for people who watch that kind of stuff. Darren Brown is brilliant. He played 8 Grandmasters, and some sort of super champion, high school or high school chess champion or something, president of the something chess, and the guy is brilliant. So of course he's good at chess, but he's not a grandmaster chess because he doesn't. Well, I don't know. He might be better than grandmasters too. And his spirit guides can just tell him how to win. But he decided to play a symbol of nine players at the same time. I think it was, I don't know, 5 masters. Whatever. Let's just say it was 8 grandmasters. I forget the masters and grandmasters, but they're grandmasters. And there's some grandmasters. Okay. And then 8 grandmasters, and then there's the high school president champion. And so he plays a real game with the champion, of course, wins. And then the 4 grandmasters kind of tie each other or beat each other up. So he came out ahead at the end. And then he had, we guessed the number of pieces left on the board somehow. And it was very impressive what he did there. He memorized the chess game and stuff like that. Anyways, the guy, he's most likely demonic, but he gave up on the Bible and he went to demons. And you know, there are different demons in different regions. The most nasty ones are the Catholics. You see people levitating, you know, speaking random crazy things. I do have a tongue that I jokingly call partial tongue, but it is the gift of tongues. Partial tongue is from Harry Potter. So I want people to think that, I want people to make their own decision on whether or not to think exactly. So if you want to brainwash your kids into righteousness, go for it. And there's biblical support for that. Proverbs 22 verse 6, train up a child the way he should go, and when he's old he will not depart from it. Proverbs 13 verse 24, he who spares the rod hates his son. Well, in what area? Because you can give certain kids different levels of agency in different regions. Now, some parents have different worldviews. They're not Christians. They think pride is good. And there's a big rumor in the world that self-exaltation is the way to go. And that's against the Bible. That's not what you want. Okay. So, you want to be humble, right? But the supernatural realm loves humility. And they think it's funny. But they're also all very arrogant, which is why there's so much betting, which is why I think it's ironic that the sports betting is illegal in this country, except in Vegas, because they control the betting. Betting is huge in the supernatural realm. How about we make wager to lay odds, you negotiate what the odds are. There are gods who have been swallowed up by smaller gods because they lost a bet, or because there are undefeated gods who don't bet, and they just scale up very slowly, and they're not into the whole betting thing. But once you do it once, you know what it is. And once you win that first bet, you can kind of get hooked on it. Norm Macdonald was a gambler. I'm an advantage player. I'm not addicted to gambling. I'm addicted to EV, which is gambling with an edge. And there's actually a podcast called Gambling with an Edge. And those guys are all, dare I say, you want to go with me? Okay. They're kind of Mammon One sick in the head. They worship EV. My friend CJ, he didn't really get it, and he still doesn't get it because he doesn't have an EV. EV is expected value. So I'll give you an example. Las Vegas runs a promo. If you buy in for $10,000, they'll give you $2,000. But the $2,000 has stipulations. You have to play a certain number of hours, and you have to bet a certain size. If you lose all the money, then they'll give you $200 cash back. Let's say that's the promo. $2,000 up front, and then $200 on the way back. And their idea is they're going to get people in there. They know people are going to get drunk. They know they're going to bet more. And when you buy in for $10,000, you probably have a lot of money. So you're going to lose a lot of money at the casino. Well, the promo chips, you only have to bet a certain amount. And according to EV, you might only lose 400 in EV if playing a certain number of hours. So you make 1,600 in EV. And even if you do lose, sometimes you get $200 cash back too. So now that's 1,800 in EV. Well, how much does it cost to get to Vegas? I don't know. Let's just say $1,000. Hotel, food, gas, all that. So you convince your wife, hey, babe, I can make $600 by just driving to Vegas. And let's say we have $30,000 in the bank. So I take the $10,000, I drive down, they give me the $2,000, they give me, and then I play, and I lose everything. Get the $200 back, drive back. And the wife says, how'd it go? I said, yeah, it went great. I bet my bankroll, I bet it all on black, and the first bet, it was an 8 against 9, and then the house took all the money, and then I got in the car and I drove all the way back, and here we are, we have $200 right here. But we made $1,600 in EV. And she's pissed. What are you talking about? You said you make $1,600 bucks. I was like, yeah, I did. I made it in expected value. Expected value, what's that? I was like, well, that's where you expected to have value, and I did the math, and we came out ahead, $1,600 bucks. And I didn't even spend the $1,000 on the hotel and the gas. Well, it turns out the wife doesn't have an omega. She's not omega. She's not hyper introverted. She hasn't studied math since she was in elementary school. She doesn't know anything. Does that make sense? So, she's pissed because we technically we lost $9,800 bucks. It's not $1,600 for free. It's $1,600 plus a bunch of variance. Now, if the house knew I was going to do what I did, which is bet it all on one hand, they wouldn't even let me play. Bet it all on one hand, then get in the car and drive back. But nobody does what I do. Nobody does that. No, they play $100 bucks, then they play 500, then they play this, and they go back and forth, and then they win or they lose or whatever. Oh, cool. And then they start playing other games, they start playing slots, and everything catches their eye. They're in there and they lose 20, 30, 40 grand. They just get drunk and empty out the clip. The 2K was just a taster. It's kind of like how I've never done drugs in my life. I've never got drunk. I've never got high. The Dare to Resist Drugs program, man, they really laid it into me. I fainted. I felt like I was on drugs. It was like you're gonna get alcoholism within 6 months if you start drinking under 21. Once you hit 21, it's 10 years because your brain's fully developed. Because all alcohol does is attack your brain. It's the devil's favorite drink. Now, some people like it, yeah, right? Some people are so smart they need to take a couple of drinks. Now, and some people also use their Christian liberty. They drink one drink. Well, LDS, if we just ban it words of wisdom. Okay? And, that's the religion that my dad chose, that's the religion that I chose, and it's the religion that my brother wants to choose. But my brother's so authentic, he doesn't want to be a half-hearted, lukewarm, hypocrite, like everyone else, in Utah. He wants to be more like all in or all out. He's not a shallow end, because Paul's gospel is the shallow end of the pool, but once you taste, it's like there's a good drug. Grace is the introductory drug. The Paul's gospel, you get the grace, you're loved first, God loves you, and then you're like, whoa, next thing you know, you're in the deep end, you're done. Now, people who try out the pool water and they say, "Ooh, I don't like that," and then they get out and go back to the mud, they would have been better off having never touched the water. Because I remember telling my sisters as a joke, I was like, "And being serious, I have to get the singleness, meaning I don't love any of you," and she was pissed. And I don't know, it's kind of a wicked. So there's the righteous and there's the wicked. The wicked joke about their wives because there's so much truth to it, but the righteous tremble behind their back. If you've ever seen a guy like Gary, he trembles when he talks about his wife. She's not. She's at her house all the way back at home, and he's miles away, and he's trembling. Oh my goodness, I married up. And after getting to know his wife, I agree. Which I didn't think it was possible when I first met Gary. I was like, this is the best guy in the church. And I said, in my opinion. Now, there's different grit, but he's the most humble, he's the most lovable. His brother is completely different, and Gary is way better than Michael. Michael, he's good. Hey, what's up? Let's do cheeseburger. Let's do. I'm not very hungry actually. Can I get a fries? I'm just realizing how not hungry I am. What is this? Oh my gosh, where am I? What's your name, John?
Oh, John, yeah.
That's a great. What's your favorite verse in John?
Well, I haven't really read the Bible in a while.
Dude, read the book of John for your name's sake. Okay, are you Christian?
Yeah.
You are, yeah, then definitely read the book of John. Because that's your name, and you should have answers to that. John 3:16, you know that one?
Well, I've heard of like the verse.
Dude, the fact that your name is John and you're a Christian and you don't know John 3:16 is one of the saddest things I've ever heard in my life. I'll tell you though. Ready? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Have you heard that verse before?
Yeah.
Okay. So memorize it, okay?
Okay.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Now I've seen it all. That's next level, you guys. How old is that guy? 28 years old. You should know about. A Christian named John. If his name was Matthew, I would have went to Matthew. If you know any verses in Matthew, but no, it was John. Okay. John. Professional athletes are not circus monkeys. They're real human beings. And unless you're Floyd Mayweather, you're probably going to get humbled as a professional athlete at some point. Like, why is that? Because you're either going to lose at some point or you're going to get old. But like Michael Jordan was interesting because he retired and then he couldn't handle it. So he came back and played on the Wizards. And I heard he was really good. He missed 7 shots in a row and he missed the good. Do you think I can still play? And he's like, what? I just, what? I want to tell a Michael Jordan story. I like Mike. but I don't love them. I love religious people. But, they say be like Mike? No. Be like Christ. It's okay to like Mike, but it's not okay to be like Mike. If you're going to be somebody else, be Jesus. Or at least John the Baptist or David A. Bednar or something, even though you will pick up some sin. David A. Bednar, take a wild guess what his sin is. Too much knowledge. Oh, that's not a sin. You're an idiot. Just call me an idiot. Yeah, I know, it's a sin by me, and because I'm so smart, it induced it. Because everyone is an idiot compared to me. Everyone is an idiot compared to Bednar. Everyone is an idiot compared to Travis Anderson. Everyone is an idiot compared to, restored truth. We need more apologists in the LDS Church. Why? And okay, there's an exception. Jake Hanson's really smart, and he somehow isn't a douche. And I don't know how he does it, but I'm a douche. I'll douche it up. And different contexts for different. What rhymes with context? Different contexts for different. Don. I don't know what rhymes with context. Thank God for work. Not leaving alone. Lance boring. He's on video. What's the longest prayer you've ever had out loud? Oh, I don't know, 14 minutes. Who just said don't say that? Well, it was either me, myself, or I. I call it the carnal trinity. The C2. Carnal. Me, myself, and I. What's the difference? Well, myself. Stop being me. Stop being the President of the United States of America one day. And it doesn't have to be 2032. You got another shot. You're young. You know how people on a deathbed, man, if I was, what would I do if I was in my 30s? Now that I know they reach some sort of new second meaning childlike. And it's like, okay, and but then they can't. Their legs don't work. It's just their mind is all say the actual fixate. But little do they know, the next life is about to get. So don't worry about it. Maintain that attitude. You're gonna get placed somewhere where you're healthy and it's heavenly, and you might not be in the highest heaven, but you're gonna be in a good position because my God said I want to take care of. I'm a fire breathing, God's righteous spiritual worshiper type of guy, and I get people to hell, and everyone has their own definition. Some people think hell is hotter than I do. So they're very tempted. Oh, how dare you send them to hell? It's like, well, what do you mean by hell? Because my religion is the state of mind. So some people are in hell right now. A lot of people. And not just poor people in other countries, but rich people here, middle class here. And if you're doing good on money, there's going to be other problems. You're going to have a toothache, you're going to have a dog that's asking you to walk them, and you signed up for this, and you're doing it, and you're feeding them, and you're walking them because everyone else is walking them. So I guess I think you got to walk them. Bill Burr even walks his dog. But tell the dog you're an indoor dog. You don't go on walks. You tell him like, he'll stop expecting it, he'll stop to me. Oh, the dog's like, oh. Well, that's gonna work if you keep making it work. Are you walking the dog or is the dog walking you? And now, if you want to walk them, that's your favorite thing. Now, some people love their dogs more than they. I don't even want to get into that. Like me, I might not love things that much because I don't have that much love to give, but at least I got the hierarchy right. God, religion, my dad. Everything else is pretty much worthless. But I don't have a heart for that. I don't have a heart for anything else. It's just my heart. Oh, now the heart. But other people that are exploding, they've been given the gift of love, so they love everything. They're just gazing and amazing. Especially women. I think women have a bigger heart for love. They just lose it at some point. They lose their heart than the guys are into, or they pick up bad habits or something like that. But the women are my rib, and they're supposed to be vessels of love. Whereas the guys are supposed to be love and a bunch of other things. The women are supposed to be more pure love vessels. That's kind of how you say it. But I just see women, the little kids, those girl ones have cooties. Well, what's cooties? Love. They're not ready for that much love yet. Maybe they will. That's just a theory. That's why I think cooties off. That's where I had my cooties for maybe. But it was more, but it was cooties, but it was, whoa, man. She wasn't a woman. She was a whoa, man. And I'm a page and no one else. And even if polygamy was allowed, I would only have one wife with Paige. And now, if Paige rejected me and she got married to somebody else, then I would go the polygamy route. And I could do quantity and equality. So, and if the goal doesn't want to practice polygamy, that's fine. But I'm in the Church of Christ Latter-day Saints. We're the one true church on earth in its first by 1410 sense. And we're also the one true church on earth in a DMC 130 sense. But that doesn't mean that the other branches of Mormonism are wrong. They have a lot of truth, and they have their own prophets. They're true too. But if I was to try to practice this other religion, I would feel slightly in the spirit, which would have been amazing if I was younger and had anything to compare it to. It wouldn't have felt age or the LDS one. The LDS is a slightly more love, peace, gentleness, and dominant spirit, whereas another branch of Mormonism might be a love, joy spirit, which is good, and or it will be a love patience spirit, or love, well, yeah. Patience, patience is waiting. Uh, Peace is being okay with waiting. So patience is like the process of waiting. Anyway, I'm here at Lance's house. I'm just gonna talk until I don't want to talk anymore. Even though I'm kind of on. But I'd rather sit there and talk into my phone. You know, if I didn't have my phone, I would never be talking like this, and if I never talked like this, I would learn from myself. I learn from myself because I feel like I'm talking to, my YouTube channel where we're looking at people on the other side of YouTube. This is a subscribed video where it's not a horse, it's a different video. Um, it's just a different video. So I have different talks for different blogs, different attitudes for different reasons, and for different views. Um, if I'm preaching to little kids, I'm going to give my doctrine to little kids, which is just believe in your saying. I'm probably not going to overwhelm them with a bunch of Greek manuscripts and all that. Just say one quick prayer and you're saved. And that might work for a 4 or 5, 6, 7 year old who's never really sinned or done anything wrong. It's about believing and trusting in Jesus alone. Now, for a 70-year-old, some dumpy who doesn't believe in God, and no, I'm not saying, yeah, it's like, no, you're old enough. Repent of sins. You got a lot of sins you got to pay for the God. And come to Jesus, you're in a rebellion. You need to turn from that rebellion. You can't stomp over the blood of Christ. Little children are rarely going to stomp over the blood. The old people will do it every time. So I'm not going to give you that gospel. Jesus' gospel. Jesus was a different from Paul. Now they both get you to the same place when translated correctly. But if I had to pick, I would take Jesus over Paul. Um, Jesus is about just pure truth. And when Jesus preached, he didn't need it to birth there. Because we're little gods. And we're like, we walked away. Like, why is that? We just saw him do a miracle. Yeah, that's nice. Like, even me, if I saw somebody do a bunch of crazy magician stuff over there, I wouldn't run to him and start worshiping him. Because, well, for me, I am bigger God. But for other people, they might see it and they might freak out. They don't even have a bigger God, but they don't want him. They want themselves. And that's why it was hard for Jesus. Plus, he was ugly on the outside, so he could preach to 5,000, feed them first, and get 2 converts, 6 converts, 10 converts, 15 converts, and then 13 of them were God. The intimacy and the loyalty, it's the rocks, it's the hard ground, it's the thorns. Now go to Paul's gospel. What's Paul's gospel? Well, that's the gospel that leads you to Christ, and he says it's about the blood, Roman justification, stuff like that. Um, it's more about, hey, you're going to hell, and you need the blood of Christ. Um, so it's more about the atonement, where Jesus is more about himself. Um, Jesus preached about himself. Paul preached about himself. But the thing is, I already had God growing up because my dad raised me so well. He had me in his arms as a little baby, and I was righteous, not gaslighting, righteous brainwashing. And he made me as strong as I could possibly be in any other shoes. And then he made Justin stronger than the average person. I mean, he raised us, but I raised my brother. The problem is, I constantly called him an idiot, and he was constantly looking up to me. I told him that he was going to do drugs one day when I should have told him don't do drugs ever. Let's make an agreement right now that you don't do drugs. But instead, I told him you're going to do drugs. And he goes, no. I said, if you process it. Because I had a prophecy. That was my first prophecy ever. That was my first drugs. And he got expelled for a year. Went to some other school. Got beat up first day, but he fought back. He did good. Um, I know. Except lithium and risperidone and Strattera. And these are all pharmacia drugs to try to help me in the hospital because I was going nuts crazy bonkers. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take meds. And it can make things better, it can make things a little worse, it can make things a lot worse. It depends on the drugs and when you take it and stuff. I took an antipsychotic because my dad told me to, and it drove me into the negative world because I really didn't need it. He was just saying to feel a certain way. But I was like struggling with some of my sins, like pride and self righteousness and all these limited is very often a sin. And I was going to hellfire for and I took an antipsychotic to mend my my sin, and it made it worse. And I was like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I was really stupid because I wasn't going through psychosis. if you latch onto something with your eyes, there's demons behind everything, and then you'll pick up there's guys behind everything. Uh, yeah, we're made to worship, and everything says worship me, worship me, all catch me. People who love their animals are basically worshiping a lot of them. Hey, I'll give you $25 million for your dog. I'm a good dog owner if what? Something I'm learning as I go is these animals that are pets are pets. There's a difference between an animal and a pet. Like if there's just some doll over here, it's not a pet yet. Like if he's at a shelter, there's a bunch of animals that let's say that this guy's a pet. It's always fixed the most one time. Ah,